Alright guys, before today's episode, just a wee reminder that we are now on Patreon. For as little as £3 a month, you can sign up and get access to an extra episode every 2 weeks, as well as bonus content, including the live show that we've done in December. Live show we've just done for Easter, and first access to tickets for upcoming live shows, including the ones that we're going to be doing at the Edinburgh Festival.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you can actually catch all three of us doing individual stand-up shows at the Fringe as well, all at Monkey Bar Comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, ticket link is in the description, so hopefully see you there. And enjoy today's episode.
Enjoy, guys.
Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh. We are at a milestone today, episode 50.
Yep. Hauf, hunner,
Count 'em.
and still a stunner.
That's it.
Probably my favourite phrase ever.
Who was that, Oscar Wilde?
Close. It was comedian Ronnie Black.
Shout out.
Shout out to Ronnie.
I like Ronnie, man. Good boy.
But that is
Amazing
a phrase.
title.
So he called his show at the Glasgow Comedy Festival a couple of years ago, Hauf, hunner, still a stunner, when he turned 50. That is now like, you know how there's that company that do all the mad Scottish phrase clothes and branded things, and they've got loads of like wee things you can buy that say Hauf, hunner, still a stunner.
Did they get it for Ronnie? I hope he's getting reimbursed.
I think it
What
was
came
just a
first?
phrase. I know it's hard to know.
The chicken eggs.
But I think it was a phrase, and he just used it's just like a wee funny Glasgow phrase, and he's used it in the show. Unless he did coin it, in which case he's due royalties.
I
would
thought
say.
he'd coined it.
I thought he coined
Yeah,
it.
it's the first time I'd heard of it. He just popularised it.
Aye, brought it into the forefront of all our imaginations.
Public consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you with Buchanan Galleries.
Yeah, or Buchanan Puss Station as well, of course. Can't forget that.
How could you ever forget it?
But yeah, it's a good milestone. We've reached 50.
Done
Not
with
quite
it.
a year yet.
It's
It's not
basically, not far off a year now. 50 eps. It's weird because it will be about 53 before it's an actual year, despite the fact I thought it was only 51 weeks in a year. But
I thought 52.
52.
did you?
Yeah.
And was that leap year last year? I don't remember. Or this year?
Did we put 2 out 1 week?
No.
Are you counting the old Firm Facts one?
No, this is
It's not canon.
It's not canon. No, that
Sorry,
was a
Adam,
bonus.
It's not canon.
Apparently, on a leap year, girls can ask guys to marry them. That's the rule. Have you heard this?
Apparently, they
quaking
can do
your
that
boots with
anyway.
No, but Catherine
What do you mean,
mentions it quite a
apparently,
lot.
do you not know about this?
Well, that's like the.
It's always on the news and all that. They always show you like, oh,
Is it?
I think
People
Steve's
doing
been
it.
burnt so many times on this podcast. He adds apparently to the start of every sentence he says.
Yeah,
now.
I don't have faith in anything that I say anymore.
Apparently, Guy Fieri's in Smash Mouth.
I was burnt from
So-
Wikipedia. That
Speaking of burnt, before we start,
oh yeah,
we need to keep this
Segue.
tight today because Stevie needs to go because he's got an important appointment. He never specified earlier in the car what that was, but he let it slip to me when you were
have
out there.
to
Do you want to tell Mark why you need to run off today?
I have to today. I need to be back in the house because I'm getting a fire safety chat from the fire brigade. Because I nearly burnt my house down.
yeah. It's you spoke about this previous episode that you recently nearly burnt your house down when you were trying to make a fucking tomato
Bit-
sandwich.
Nice to have
Bacon.
ongoing storylines in the podcast. Isn't it? It's like Corey.
It's like a whole character arc over this 50 episodes.
It's like Walter White, Steve's transition from good to evil.
Well, they said it was an optional thing, but they were like heavily saying you should definitely get one.
So do people come and do like a wee play or something in your house?
He's going to learn about the dangers of drugs next week.
Yeah, I've got a wee knife crime guy coming on the week after. No, it's a guy, basically I think it's just a fireman comes in and says what he should and shouldn't do. He just gives me into trouble basically for nearly burning down my house.
Emasculate you in front of Catherine.
Yeah, but the funny thing was, they phoned me, I missed the call, so I phoned them back. And have you ever phoned a fire station? It's fucking bizarre. He answered the phone
Maybe
and he
this
went,
is why they have to come round. He keeps fucking phoning this guy. We need to teach him.
he went,
I just always get a picture of them sitting just watching the telly and like reading porno mags and all this sort of stuff. That's kind of the idea of the fireman, isn't it?
it was fucking weird. He opened with like a wee catchphrase. He said, and I phoned him twice, so it happened twice. So he went, blah, 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 fire station. What's come under the boil? And is that a bit of wordplay?
What's come under the boil?
Yeah.
I
I've
don't
no
know.
idea. What
That's
that
a fucking mental phrase
That
to
is,
say
yeah.
to someone on the phone, though, isn't it? To answer the phone.
Right, my guess is that's either like a kind of old-fashioned phrase that like just generic old people would say. Where's come under the boil? Or it is something to do with like the fire service. But it seems a bit too frivolous to be
Aye,
saying.
exactly. Imagine your house is
Yeah,
on
yeah.
fire and he's like, what's come under the boil?
is. Can we cut to the fucking chase here, please?
My grand's on fire. Come quick.
She's fucking boiling.
That's a mental phrase, isn't it?
Yeah,
What's
I
come
wonder.
under the boil?
I
I've no idea what that means either.
Yeah.
Maybe we should look that up.
Yeah, look that up.
I mean,
Do you
if
want me
you,
to do it?
yeah.
Let's-
No, I tried Googling it. I think under the boil is like, like,
Boiling to me doesn't suggest fire either. It doesn't.
well, that would be boiling water, but like, in Scotland, you can be boiling and you're hot, aren't you?
Well, yeah, sure. I'm not on fire. I'm not ringing 999.
Let's see if I've actually got the keyboard on here. No, I don't.
I can do it on my phone if you want.
It seems like a strange phrase to me.
That sounds like something my gran would say.
I know it's, but it seems too coincidental. If
Yeah.
it's just a normal phrase that they would be saying it in a fucking
Fire department.
fire station.
Fire.
May as well be like, oh, you're hot under the collar today, boys.
So see, once he'd said what's under the boil,
It's not a genuine inquiry, is it, that they're expecting an answer to?
Well, because it threw me big time, and I was like,
I mean, you obviously the last episode we done the free was you get
I was
thrown when you asked
thrown.
if you had any allergies when you were ordering a fucking burger.
but it's the way people phrase things. I'm like, what? I'm not the fucking idiot here. It's like, well, that's such a weird.
Guy surrounded by fire in his house trying to make a bacon piece. I'm not the idiot here.
That's a mental phrase, so you have to admit that to answer
No,
a phone.
no,
to.
absolutely.
Nothing's coming up.
So it threw me, and I was like, I'm phoning because you phoned me, and I need you to come to my house. I didn't know. I was like, I need a fire safety chat or something.
Right.
They've told me that I need a fire safety chat.
I
And
can't
I'm
get
like,
to the bottom of it, sorry.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just this specific fire station that says it. I want to phone other fire stations.
Why would they do it right now?
Do a prank.
Live. I know that's the thing. You can't just be pranking fire
We're not
stations.
pranking, we're just a general inquiry. Maybe we should get a fire safety chat right now on the podcast. Bring him on.
You aren't?
This guy.
You can phone up to ask for a fire safety chat, so we should ask them to come on, and then that could be the next guest.
For the next time Marc leaves and the cameras overheat for no reason.
Printer turns on.
Did I tell you, I used to do fire safety, a plays about fire safety for a wee while.
In old folks' homes.
In old folks' homes, right? Because there's a guy who, like, is a comic and he used to run, like, wee plays around, he used to do schools.
Nearly half a hunner, still stunning this guy.
Yeah, he's not far off, right? And he would do these ones, the old folks' homes. So I ended up doing all of them. And it was like, yeah, it was like, I would come in, it was like a sort of sliding doors type of thing. Apparently, because I've never fucking seen that film, right? Apparently, halfway through it or something,
For what's
it shows you what would happen one way and what would happen the other way, right?
I've heard I mean, that's a thing that people know.
It's a
about.
phrase in it that
Yeah.
people say, sliding doors moment, right? It was like that, basically. It was plagiarised, is what I'm trying to say, right? But basically, the whole thing was, it's like, you know, I'm going in and visiting my granda, and then it's like, oh, granda, you need to get that, you need to put that fucking, you need to take that plug at the wall and, you know, take your toaster at the wall and all that, and don't have that fucking mat line there, it's a trip hazard and all this kind of stuff.
You're allowed to drop some F-bombs.
Shite play this. Yeah.
There was a couple of zingers in there, right? But I came in, I'm the straight man, you know, I'm like,
Did you do
basically-
that mother's pride joke at the start?
No, he did do that though.
Did
It's
he?
like what
You're
was-
the Ernie Wise to his Eric Moore.
yeah. With Mother's Pride cigarette outsider, that one.
Yeah,
eh?
the
He did
horse
do that. Yeah, would kill sometimes in the old folks' homes. That joke, by the way.
Which you don't want to be done
Yeah.
in
Aye,
the old folks.
some are teeth, some are white, some are black, and some are missing.
Good stuff.
All that stuff, right? It's all coming back to me, right? But I would get in and do that, and then like I can't remember. Well, what happened is then I would come back as a bogus gas man, and then I'd like nick all his stuff or
Here
something.
to
like that.
ransack his house.
Aye, and then it does a slide, and then it's the sliding doors thing. But there was a fireman who was in all of those plays with us because he would come in the middle and he would tell the guy about what to do, and then he would do it, and then I would come in as a grandson at the end in the sliding doors universe, the alternative universe where he's done everything right. And I'm like, oh, Granda, you've taken the fucking plug out the back of the wall and all this and stuff.
Even an idealistic situation.
We were doing these in a lot of deprived areas, right? We really had to try and connect with our audience.
Stupid old cunt, you've left the plug in.
But the
So in this sliding door scenario, the first time around, did they burn to death or anything, or did you just did you just give him into trouble the first time, and then the second time you complimented
that
him?
would be quite an extreme way to be doing to people who are
These are
quite
extreme
close
lessons you need to learn.
to death themselves. That's what we hear. Yeah.
But like, like the sliding doors thing is, oh, if you took this path, I could give you a
I
compliment.
think actually what happened in it is he gets robbed. So
Right.
it's but then
And this house is on fire.
it's like I was gonna come. It was
Can't
sort of
catch
an
a break.
all-encompassing thing, right? It was like I would come in and I'd tell him to take his plugs and all that. Then,
Easier to steal.
yeah, I think then what happens is that the fire guy comes in the middle. There was a real fireman who was in the plays with us, right? He's like doing a turn,
Nice.
and he'd come in and he'd
better
go,
Spreading the boards.
right, this is why you need to do this, and I was going to start writing and explain it, and then that's what happens in the other one, because then he does that and then I come in and it's all fixed. But what happens is basically it's the bogus gas man thing.
Was that a real bogus gas man?
No, that was
an
also me.
actor. Right.
That was
It's not like Sopranos. Polly Walnuts was a gangster, and then he was an actor.
a weird card on it, but so I would come in and do that, and then it's like the end of the play, like, and that bit was him, like, he's like, oh, my credit card, I can't pay for my grandson to go on his honeymoon or some shit like that, right? I think the joke was it was to fucking Millport or something like that, right? And then that's a weird time in my life doing this, right? I was doing this with like part-time work in a call center, but
This is what the next live show should be, us recreating that.
reconnecting it.
Introducing Steve as fireman. Now that you've got all the training. Yeah.
But I wonder, it might be the same guy, because I would imagine that outside of, you know, doing a turn on stage, that maybe his job was just to give those fire safety shots, because that's effectively what he was doing in the play.
Aye.
So maybe you'll meet him.
A lot of it is about
Ask him
trying
if he's
to prevent
yeah.
rather than putting out.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, that's the whole point of it. Aye.
Next week we can hear what you've learned, of course.
Yeah, well, I'll take notes.
So when have you got this? So that's, you need to literally leave to go and do that
and he'll be
today.
there for 2:30. He's coming round prompt.
What are you gonna do if you ghost him? What's he gonna do?
Well,
I mean, there's literally, you don't actually need to get this.
that's
do you?
not a legal requirement, but you know, Catherine was like, I think to make this not happen again, I think you should get it, Stephen.
Is she gonna? Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough.
So and she'll be there as well, but yeah, all that sort of stuff, fucking linking up your smoke alarms and all that. All that shit.
I'm laughing, but I don't know the first thing about fire safety or care enough to look into any of that.
What I do because of those plays, I still to this day I take all my plugs out at night and stuff, apart from my phone, obviously. But I do. I'll
Really?
take everything out because I'm quite.
Should I be doing that? Should I?
He basically said that the
I don't
main thing that causes, like, a lot of fires come from if plugs are left in, even if they're switched off, if they're in the wall, they can still go on fire.
How's
To me,
that?
that sounds like bullshit.
I've been leaving plugs in all my days.
Aye.
Never done me any
But
good.
as a
So
result, I just always take them out just as a wee safety precaution.
Right, there
We
you go.
do that now because Catherine always done that, but when I was in my mum's house, I didn't fucking do that. I didn't burn down once.
Toxic take, but I think that's for pussies. You can dedicate this to my memory when I die in a fire this week.
That was part of the play, actually. That's what the
I think
granddad
you're
was
too
saying.
cool to take plugs out.
Taking the plug out of toasters for fucking pussies, guys.
That'll be in your gravestones. This was for
Die
pussies.
doing what you love, not being a pussy.
He never made it to hauf, hunner. But he was
But it was a stunner.
until the fire.
So yeah, this is a good milestone for us. What any milestones you've hit? What's the big milestones of being a man, being a boy, first pube?
First pube, yeah, of course.
Can't remember.
Boys
Getting that
draw
wrong.
him, right?
Is that a real thing?
I don't
Steve
know.
came out with Boz straight away.
Have we spoke about that before?
No, we haven't. But
I'm amazed we've never spoke about this. This is Primus.
They don't physically actually go
But they
get
do.
lower,
They
do
do,
they?
they do though.
They don't go lower, do they?
Well,
They're
they're
inside
kinda,
and then they're outside. Isn't it?
Aye.
Inside your body?
You know how that way they're kind
Are
of
they?
they're
Yeah.
kind of droopy, right? But no, that way. We'll see. Know how that way sometimes when it's cold or whatever, and they're kind of
They shrivel up.
they're shriveled. Was that not what it was just like the entire time when you're a wee
I
boy?
think that's what it is, isn't
until
it?
they drop and then
Shall we
they're-
Google this?
But it's not like it's not like your water's breaking where it just happens, is it? It's not like, oh god, my balls just dropped. It's not like that, is it?
No.
So is there's water over the floor?
And then your
Take
voice
me to the
is
hospital.
like that isn't a thing, is it?
No, I don't know if it's an actual time because like it maybe happens gradually or something, or you
Must
just wake
be.
up one day with it. But I know you don't get people just stopped in the middle of the street because their
think I've
balls
just
have dropped.
Flagging
my
down an
balls.
ambulance, you're phoning up. What's come under the boil? My balls.
And
Balls have dropped.
how correlated to the voice breaking is the balls dropping?
Yeah, it can't be at the same time. Can it?
Oh God! Because that is what people say. Is like, come back when your balls have dropped, wee man. When it's like somebody with a high pitched
That's
voice.
a great slag, and I'm going to bring that back.
Great slagging, right? Come back when your balls have dropped. But does that like do your balls drop at a different time to your?
I think it's say from each other. Like left comes then, right?
No,
I think
my
that-
one is
Walking in a
lower.
circle for
Mine
us.
Is
is
the
lower
voice
for me.
dropping
Me
correlated
too.
with the balls dropping?
Yeah, like mid sentence. Yeah.
You know, well, surely that must happen though if people's voices break.
Well, it's all to do with a change in testosterone.
Yeah,
surely.
your voice breaks gradually, doesn't it? It gets a bit sort of croaky, and then all of a sudden you're like that.
Aye.
And that never really happened to
From
me.
the
I've still got quite a light voice, but
Have your balls dropped though?
I think once you've had the fire safety talk, that's when your balls drop. That's when you become a man.
yeah, I genuinely don't know if they have dropped yet. But I've got pubes, so
Right.
You win some, you lose some.
I'm actually going to Google because I'm interested to
In my
see.
mind, I mean, it's been a while since I did sex ed, but I think
I never,
you've
which I
got, a
never
wee,
got. by
you've
the
got a
way.
wee sack there, and your balls are inside, and one day they pop out, and it's never the same again.
they don't pop out though.
I think they pop out.
They're not inside your body.
I think they are.
You need to go to a doctor.
You think you came out the
immediately.
womb with bollocks?
What? No, well,
But aye, they
balls.
do have balls, surely. They've
Yeah,
got
but
the sack at least.
This is what I'm saying. You got the sack.
They
Right.
don't have the balls.
And then your friend of mine, the testes, they rock up about 13 years late. do they not?
No, you're not just cutting about for 10 years old and you've just got a bit of skin, didn't you? Surely. No,
But
I
then 'cause
remember.
you can't come until about that time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean to say you've no got balls.
Nobody ever got hit in the balls with a football at school, and it was a problem until we were teenagers.
No,
I got hit in the balls plenty of
Really?
times. Boss slaps.
I feel that's when you're older, though.
But it's
Primary.
because it's sore when they've dropped.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
But it's not.
I think you've got a sack there, and then the balls are late to the party.
No, I have to disagree with that. Step.
Well, there is an answer to this, so one of us is wrong.
No. I would
They
be
certainly.
horrified and
lower.
amazed if that was the case.
Right, I've got an answer to this here.
God.
Testicles, quote unquote, drop long before puberty.
Oh.
The hormones from puberty, some of which come from the testicles, do cause changes in the vocal cords, which in turn cause the change in voice. But no, it isn't because their balls dropped. If it was, there'd be a lot of deep voiced baby boys out there.
I'd love to see it.
Dada. Mama.
So, so does that not suggest though that they're saying there's a lot of baby boys out there whose balls have already dropped?
well, so
Well,
is
it
that what you're
sounded
saying
like
then?
it's happening earlier than I thought it was, but
So that is a thing. They fall out, but that's when you're a
it's
baby.
like when you're like
Right, I might
8
get,
or something.
will I get put on the
It's a
register for
baby.
Googling do babies have balls?
This is the end of this podcast. 50 was a good run. Nice round number.
Age do boys get balls? Grow balls? Nobody's growing balls though. That's definitely a thing.
Growing balls.
That's what you're saying.
Grow a
though.
pair of balls.
Grow a person.
That's not what I'm saying.
Aye, it is.
I'm saying they're in your body and they drop into the sack that was already there,
What they're doing in the body, just sitting.
chilling. Well, they're not exactly in use, are they? Don't know how much action you were getting in primary school.
Well, summer camp broke my VL.
No, your balls, you didn't.
No, no, of course not. But I don't know about this boss chat.
New podcast.
Aye, it's all we know is that
we've got
they,
Richard Osman on it over here.
that they drop. That's all that we can be sure. If there's any medical people out there, you know,
Yeah, hit
If you
us
need
up.
me and Steve to come around your house and give you a ball demonstration of how it all works.
I was watching
and also if you've got any kids out there like to test Stuart's theory, try and kick your 7-year-old boy in the balls
how he
and
likes
see if it hurts him. Don't do that.
please don't do that. I was watching a thing last night. That's it's like sex education or something. No, something like that on Channel 4.
Well, I think that Ishan's.
No,
been
it was
in.
like an actual sex ed, but it was mental.
Right. You're
It's like-
learning a lot.
Yeah,
this
you're going
week.
through puberty currently.
Well, 'cause you were saying like that, you don't learn a lot about sex ed nowadays and stuff, and it was on last night on Channel 4, so I watched it. obviously.
What did you learn?
Everyone's got different bodies. People have different size areolas, and that's fine.
That's fine. We're not here to areola shame anyone.
Yeah.
He's a great goalie.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not totally certain what an areola is.
The bit about your
It's
nipple.
the egg white of the nipple.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
It's not the
right.
nubbin, it's the bit around.
Yeah, I've
it.
learned that from experience, actually, that people have got different versions of them. I've
Oh,
not,
top shagger over here.
Didn't need some telly show to tell me.
That's
We're still
basically.
learning the theory at the minute, me and Steve.
It was more about body positivity and all that. But they were teaching like 15, 16-year-olds. They're sitting in a thing and they get a bunch of naked women out. I thought that was a bit weird. Is that not illegal?
Oh, is that
What, in
thing
front
that
of
everybody's been annoyed? Aye, because they were talking, because all these people were getting upset because there is kids and they show them naked bodies
What,
of
the
adults.
kids are naked?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's
No, they
mental.
show kids
Oh, right.
like what different bodies look like. So they have
Silver.
these naked adults go out, and all these people were annoyed because obviously it's showing kids naked adults, which is
But
weird
that is
to
what
be fair.
sex education is, though. Isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. I, know,
I
it's
suppose you're just in school. It was like a textbook, wasn't it? And you
We had
could
videos and stuff.
Well, we got shown a video of a woman giving birth. Did you see that? That was insane.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I never realised until I spoke to you about this? Because obviously your girlfriend Catherine is Catholic as well. I'm at a Catholic school. I didn't realise that I didn't get sex education
Yeah.
in high school.
She didn't.
I only got it in primary 7. Like they gave you like a kind of probably perfunctory talk about certain things. I think they've changed it now because I think the Scottish government require it in all schools. So I think it might have changed now. But I never got anything in high school at all.
That's mental.
I never done 6 year to be fair, but that seems like you should have got
That is
something
crazy.
before
No,
then.
it's
Me
like
and Steve got it. In
second
fact, listen to how ignorant we are.
I know.
This is after education.
Well, they were so bad at it though. That's the thing. The
It was
teachers
so awkward and
were
weird,
so
wasn't it?
awkward with
Yeah.
it. It was like your fucking IT teacher who had a free period who was teaching you
Yeah, he's just taught you spreadsheets and now he's teaching you.
how to put a fucking Johnny on a banana. I remember the guy got like the hottest girl in our year to do the banana thing, and
Oh
it was
my God.
creepy behaviour.
That's weird
That's
that
really
they're
weird.
picking them out on purpose.
It felt like that.
Aye.
It definitely felt like that.
I know.
Christ.
Fuck's sake. How do you feel, see, to go back
Grim.
to the body positivity thing? Do you feel that...
Body positive. Am I positive about my body?
well, I just think, do you feel like the aspect of height when it comes to body positivity is overlooked?
Yeah. Sure.
And how do you feel about
Small.
Makes me feel small. You got it.
that? Because it's like, I love your body. Not, but there's nothing you can do about, apart from going and getting this knee surgery you're always going on about.
Yeah.
That
Me and
is-
Steve are going to get the Elon Musk knee surgery. I don't even think he's got it, but all the billionaires are getting it now.
Turns
Aye.
out that doesn't exist. But do you know what? So in this sex education program, there was a trans woman who, and a trans man, sorry, and used to be a woman, and then they put the penis surgery,
Uh-huh.
but it was long, and they were like, our
That's what you
problem.
want, uh-huh.
Well, they were like, our problem is it's always going to be a shower, not a grower. So that's the length it is when it goes erect. I was jealous of that. I was wondering if I could somehow do that with my knees, if that's a thing.
All right,
Pull-
that's not where I thought you were going.
Yeah, your knees.
My knees are more of a grower, actually, when I fully extend.
I wonder if they could pull something out and make it longer, or maybe your body
Stretch those hammies out.
stretch your areolas out to make it longer, something. Don't know, man.
Would you take 6 inches of height, but it's all areolas somehow?
What, areola skin to make you longer?
Fuck knows.
See if that did happen, would you actually do that? Would you like see if in the next 10 years or whatever it's possible to like see if you could
height
get
surgery.
see if you, yeah if you
It's a
could
bit
become
already if you turn up 6'4" one day and not mention it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You could probably get a couple of inches and get away with it.
I'm comfortable with it now, to be honest.
Aye.
I would have taken it when I was 16, 17. I would have bit your hand off for height surgery.
yeah.
Nowadays, I'm alright.
It is
You're
funny
body
though.
positive, Steve.
Listen, Prince was a small king. Small prince.
He shagged
He fucked.
like never before.
He wore a wee set of Cuban heels though, which put me off.
That's
him.
an option for you.
I know, nah. I just wear thick soles on my trainers.
Have you ever
Prince,
worn
Napoleon?
stilts?
What?
Have you ever worn no stilt, but have you ever worn like shoes with lifts?
Lifts.
Is that a thing?
Lifts? What do you mean, like insole lifts?
I guess so. I don't know how
That's
it
what
works.
I think that's what they are, isn't it?
Aye.
That's what you hear.
Nah, just these, just kind of thicker trainers, but it's just like normal trainers now, innit? I've not got a specific
Because
platform.
that's what everybody, I know all the trainers have got those wee platform thing in it anyway.
But nah, I've never got stilts or that.
So anyway, Prince, go on. Who else?
Prince, Napoleon, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, never done them any harm, eh?
No.
Nah, they're all fucking. Each and every one of them guys.
Allegedly.
Well, was Rasputin,
Allegedly,
was he?
Napoleon's fucking.
Yeah. Well,
Rasputin.
no, well, I suppose legendary. He's not. Well, that was small man syndrome, was it not? From him.
I
Yeah.
have no idea what his sexual history's like, Napoleon.
Well, that's I was
I barely
kind
know if
of.
I've got buzz. What are you saying about Rasputin?
Was he small? No.
No idea.
The
Had
big
a huge bobby
13-inch cock.
Was it?
Apparently,
Yeah.
it's in a jar.
Yeah, pickled in a jar in a
There you go.
museum.
Nice. Good on him.
The Hunterian, I believe.
It's not that.
Could you imagine?
I think that was in an
That was
episode
a
of Still Game.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
watch a fucking.
You're half remembering an episode of a sitcom.
That was a joke, guys. Come on. Sometimes a joke. Yeah. Now, what would you get done, body positivity wise?
In the interest of body negativity, though, really.
Yeah, no, aye.
What are you so unhappy
I have
with
been.
your
I've looked into Invisalign recently.
What's
I wouldn't
that? What's that?
for the just getting the teeth straightened up a wee bit.
All right.
Alright, okay.
I wouldn't do the turkey teeth thing.
Nah.
Daft.
Nah.
Like
No way.
the hair thing is. Would you get a hair transplant ever? Do you think? To
I'm going to be a bit baldy at the old sides.
Well, that's your auntie's fault. You're the demon barber of Clyde
Well, if we don't know that for certain, but because my mum's
why is it her
dad,
fault?
Well, he blamed her on a previous podcast, which I thought was harsh.
Well,
For
she
going bald?
used
She
to
stepped
shave
in at
in
one
this
point.
side bit all the time, and then I never recovered from it. I don't.
I know. I do think.
He
I
reckons
do
his
worry
auntie's
about
shaving her receiver.
I don't know. That's a thing.
doing
though.
yourself at work, really. That
That's a thing, though.
shaving away a
Trying to
Clyde's hair.
gaslight your hairline.
Some people think if they shave off their hair, then it will never grow
That's the
back.
fear I've got, actually. You know,
So maybe that's what
you
happened.
want to risk it. Anyway,
Is there science in that? Is that, or is it just a?
I don't know. Because I always heard
Listen,
when.
10 minutes ago we were talking about fucking when I don't know you grow balls.
Yeah, I think science is out
I
the
shaved my
window
pubes
now.
once and my balls disappeared.
I did. Someone used to say that if you shaved enough, then
It grows
hair
back
would
more.
grow. So maybe
Yeah, I
it's
think
the
that's
reverse
bullshit.
of that.
You know, how does that work?
I
Is
don't
that-
think that's true, is it?
I don't know.
Something you hear though, definitely. Like,
Well, that's why
that
I'm reluctant to ever. I've only shaved my chest about twice ever. Can't remember the reasons why, but you're always like, I don't want to be one of the people that it's like too hingy, but I feel like the more I would do it, the more it would
Yeah.
grow. So
Well, I used to, when I was a wee guy, I used to take a Mac 3 just to try and get some
Something
facial hair.
just
a
to
bit.
try and
was.
preempt you. What age
Yeah.
were you then?
Maybe.
7?
No, maybe like 13.
Uh-huh.
Just try and get a wee bit of bum fluff
Yeah.
in the go.
Right.
And look at me now.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
And you've done it so well that you've now got grey
Done
beard.
it too much in this patch, clearly.
Do you know what's fucked up? When I trim my chest hair sometimes, just so it's not too crazy, because I'm quite hairy. But if I go too short on it, it sticks through my t-shirts sometimes,
yeah, I've
and it
had
feels
that.
crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, well, like
Shaggy.
just the wee tiny hairs?
because it pokes out rather than
Yeah.
like down. It's weird.
You a body positive person, Stu?
About you or about me?
Yeah.
Both.
Positive
Both
about
positive.
my
I'm
body.
thrilled about you, buddy. Yeah, in general, yeah, I think so. Even when,
You
I
had
think
your, you had your show about the piche.
yeah,
Is that away? Is it still there?
I've still got a bald patch at the back that is growing in. I got injections recently, actually, in the top of my head.
Right.
Not like turkey style, but it's just
Is
like
that
a
like
steroid thing.
a new thing?
I've no idea, really. I got a fucking appointment like 2 years ago or something, and it came
Wow.
round. And obviously, it's way better than it was. But I've still got a patch at the back that I cover. So I'm hoping that it's on the way out now. But because the baldy bit now is like at the crown, and that's where you lose your hair first, I think it's harder for the hair to grow back in there.
Yeah.
Because the other bit, like at the front, it grew in like rapid. But this one's really dragging its heels. So I'm hoping
Fingers
it'll be
crossed.
all right. But yeah, I'm sort of learning to live with it now. It's easy enough to hide at least now. But
Yeah.
I don't mean, I was really self-conscious about it when it was really bad. And I was wearing a hat all the time and everything.
So is it definitely has it improved a lot then?
Massively,
basically?
yeah. Because
Aye.
I'd lost it all over, really.
Really?
And there's a bit at the front when it was really bad. I'd lost like 2 or 3 sort of golf ball sized patches at the front.
God.
And I only had like 4 like Homer Simpson hairs in the middle.
Aye.
They were still like long that I could sort of just about get away with it.
Yeah.
It was getting really hard to hide, basically. But luckily it grew in again quite well.
Aye. And then with these things now, is that made?
Well, I think it's just meant
unlikely?
to stimulate it. I don't like. There's no guarantee that it'll work.
Yeah.
But I think it's something like if you've got alopecia areata and you lose over 50% of your hair in the first 6 months or something, chances are you're going to lose it all
Aye.
in your eyebrows and everything. But I lost maybe 30-40%. So it's kind of like,
On the cusp.
yeah,
almost.
it should hopefully be all right. But
See.
talking about buzzing it, like, because it was all mad different lengths and everything. So for a while I just had hairs at the front that were like that because they grew in late, and then
Yeah.
the rest of it was long. I was just gonna buzz it so it was all uniform length.
Yeah.
But part of me is kind of scared that
It won't
wouldn't
grow
grow
back.
it will, innit?
Yeah. No, you
Or
never know.
if I buzz it and then I start losing patches again, then I won't be able to hide it and it'll be
Yeah.
game over.
Hmm.
But in general terms, I'm pretty.
I think that's the main thing that guys do get self-conscious about, probably hairline and
Yeah, I feel like people don't talk about it very much either.
Every time I'm convinced, because I've always had a bit of a bigger forehead anyway, but I'm like I'm always, I think it's just
Everyone
because
thinks they've got a big forehead.
I know, but then I'm also like
you've
looking
got a
and going,
5 head. How big it is? You know what I mean? Come on, am I right, guys?
That's good.
Oh my
That's
god!
good. That's good, Pat.
I got a message from a guy recently who I'd see when I was in Amsterdam years ago, right? We stayed in this, like, and me and a mate of mine, and he'd booked the hostel, right? And it turned out we'd booked this Christian hostel, right? So it's like prayer group.
No
and all
sex
that.
education. No.
Fucking Amsterdam, no, 100%. But anyway, so there's this our guy in our hostel room, right? And we went out with him for a night and all that sort of stuff. And I think I wasn't long into doing comedy, but because he knew that, he kept telling me this mad story of like going, oh, like fucking this guy, oh, fucking he'd been to Tenerife so many times, go, I live in a reef, right? Oh, fucking, that was in that
classic.
play as well, that fucking joke, right?
No way.
But he met, like, and then he kept saying it so many times, and I thought, like, he's like, you can use that, right? And I thought, the only way I will ever use this joke
Is to
is
ridicule you.
explaining that you kept telling me it so many times, right? And then he messaged me, like, last week, and he's like, do you remember me, blah, blah, blah? And then he
no, he
said the
didn't.
joke.
Oh
It's
my
like, I
God.
kept
Jesus
telling you that joke about I live in a reef, and I'm
That's
like,
his out routine, that guy.
Aye.
Imagine he was the guy who did write that joke originally, because someone has to be the original
He's
writer.
the Ronnie Black of that.
to be fair, that is a good line. The first time you
The
hear
very first time you ever hear it,
it. Aye.
you're like, that's good, and then you see it on t-shirts and all that.
Been to Tenerife so many times, got to live in a reef. Five head would be a good one as well.
I've heard
Stock
it.
part of it.
I've heard it in the context of he goes to Tenerife, I'll go to. No, he goes to Tenerife, I'll go
He's
to
always got
Tenerife.
one up.
top, yeah.
That's the
One up.
context I've heard it as well.
Yeah.
Aye. I think he might. Maybe he was just getting mixed up. Although maybe that was the original story. Who the fuck knows? But
Maybe.
Sounds like the guy came up with a joke in Tenerife. It was crushing in Tenerife, and then after a while, he's I need a way to get into this bit about living in a reef. So I'll build in the context of one up, and you know when you've got like a bit of local or something, and you need to fix it and change it to make it
Absolutely.
work in other gigs.
Yeah.
That's what he's done.
But-
Maybe he's done that.
But regardless, nice to hear from that guy. And he's doing well.
Shout out.
Aye, but to go back to, I'm always like self-conscious that I'm like, is it receding? Is it receding? But my hair's relatively fixed, so I think I'll hopefully keep most of it. But it's the hairline
you're
into it.
looking
You know?
I wouldn't say you've got a receder at all.
No, I think
Don't worry
that's
about
good.
it.
I've got fullbacks here, man.
Is that what you call
Playing
them?
wingbacks.
These, man. But my
Crow's feet? Is that no? That's the thing under your eyes, isn't it?
that's the
Yeah.
side of your eyes.
I've got cow's legs.
Aye, I've got a cow's lick, you know.
Yeah.
What's that Widow's Peak? Is that what you've got?
Is that what that
Widow's
is?
Peak when it's like the Dracula when it comes forward at the
Oh,
front.
aye. No, it's no quite get that yet.
Nah, but like,
You can have that without a receder. You can have
Aye, right
just
enough.
the way.
Like
did they not say, is it from your mum's side or your dad's side? Because my mum's dad had a fucking big bald. They went round and then hair round the side. With my
yeah.
dad's
Larry
dad,
David.
yeah, that kind of
that.
thing. My dad's dad had full head of white hair,
Aye.
slicked
They
back.
do say it
Well,
skips a generation, but I feel like it's an old wives' tale.
Yeah, no. Who can
Both my
know?
granddads had hair to the end, but my dad has lost his.
Oh, really?
So I'm hoping that that's true.
My ma's dad had like quite thick hair, kind of similar to mine. And in fact, all his brothers, he had like 3 brothers, and they looked like the old pictures. They looked like the Kennedys. It's, they didn't have good dental hygiene. But they did, and actually, one his brother Bobby kind of looked a bit like Bobby Kennedy. Actually, like if you look at these old photos, but they've all got that, and I just always look at the photos and go, hopefully that's my genes, and I can just keep
Yeah.
that thick head of hair. But
Aye.
but no, it's true, and I listen, more people need to talk about this. As we've been from the get go, we are a men's mental health podcast.
Of course, always.
And it's important to talk about these things, you know.
Yeah, got to ask your boys if you're okay. You've got to ask them twice, apparently.
Do you?
Yeah, you have to say
Just
you're
annoy
alright,
them.
and then they say yeah, and I go, are you actually alright? And then that's when they start blubbering.
Yeah, no, I've heard that. It's good advice.
I
It's good
probably
advice
should.
if you've got a guest on a podcast and they're not yielding. You should have a good answer.
On fact, there was this time.
We have been blessed to have a lot of really great guests on over the last 12 months.
Yeah, this feels like it's going to turn into like a clip show episode. We're
And
gonna-
we're going to take a good look back now at some of
Fucking
our
should have done that.
favourite guests over the no, but we do have some other topics to cover.
Yes, couple of hypotheticals.
Yes, and this one as well. Do you want? Will we start with this one, Stuart? Your
The old yesterday routine.
the yesterday routine.
I was in the pub yesterday,
Wow.
which is not why you're calling it that. Friend of the show, Ollie, my flatmate.
Shout out.
He gave me a hypothetical that I'm now stealing for content.
Of course.
So, alternate universe, right? It's exactly like this.
You've lost me.
And one of them, your house is on fire. The other one, you're being a good boy, you're taking the plugs out. No, it was like,
Fireman, explain this scenario, Steve.
but like, so it's exactly like this, but culture is different. So, for example, J.R.R. Tolkien I've got the same cultural relevance, but he didn't write Lord of the Rings. It's for someone else.
Right.
You have your knowledge and skill set from this universe. So in theory, you could steal whatever great piece of work it is, whatever a piece of art, but you need to be able to replicate it yourself and get it over the line. What would you choose to steal?
So essentially, if you can't draw, don't choose Picasso or something.
Well, arguably Picasso can't really draw either.
That's
I
fair.
could probably, one of his sketches you could do, but it's worth something because it is a Picasso. For me, that's just a shit drawing on a bit of paper.
Yeah.
I'm showing that around town and no one's giving a fuck,
That's true.
And like I've seen Lord of the Rings. I can vaguely remember what happened.
Could you write word for word?
Could have fuck. No one near.
Because he's built such a huge world. He's done the Hobbits and all that. He's got names for fucking orcs and shit. Could you name any orcs?
No.
And maybe something you really know well, wouldn't it, to be able to kind of replicate
This
it?
is what I was kind of
This is
saying.
like a song or something like that, I suppose.
Because in theory, you could know like the Yesterday thing. You
'Cause
could
that is
know all the
obviously that
Beatles
film Yesterday,
songs,
aye.
but I don't have any musical ability. But I could maybe find talented musicians and teach them the songs.
Yeah.
Well, I could string it together about 4 chords for like fucking Hey Jude or whatever, and then it's just Hey Jude the whole song, so that's fine. But I couldn't sing. I can't sing.
Well, because it's like for example, to actually use the Beatles, right? I don't know, this is obviously is the literal plot of this film Yesterday, but you know how in that Let It Be documentary, and it shows you Paul McCartney sitting down and trying to figure out, is it Let It Be? Is the
Get
actual-
Back, it's
Let
called.
It Be.
Yeah.
Aye, but it's Let It Be.
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
him,
yeah.
and that so at that time that song didn't exist. So say that he just never done that, but you had that knowledge, and you could write Let It Be and do it.
But I mean, I can't even remember the words to Let It Be right now. So
And they were already the Beatles at that point. They were world famous. They were at a very specific time in history. The stars aligned for them. You could write Let It Be now, and maybe nobody would ever hear it,
it would have to be, I guess, for all of us, it would be like great routines for stand up that you could steal.
I wonder if that's the case, and that's what they would say about Van Gogh or whatever, that he was, he wasn't famous or popular in his time, and it's only after he dies. And like, I want to see, because there's so much content now, you wonder like what great stand-up routines or music or whatever could be being made, and it's just never going to get seen or heard until maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Because for someone to break out, obviously some people are just uber talented and they probably always find a way, but with most things, there's a real air of serendipity about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Elvis might just be a fat lad on TikTok now, it's not, you know what I mean?
Aye. But it is interesting, but you wonder, it's like, see it, like, so that is a good hypothetical actually with that, like, so say Let It Be had never been done by the Beatles, but some cunt on TikTok or something just wrote it today.
Would you think it's good?
Would it become, like, would it just be so objectively good that people would love it anyway, or would it
I
just
don't
be
think
like,
it would.
Nah,
I don't
'cause
think
it'd be-
anyone comes at art without all that baggage of.
Yeah.
so a lot of the context of the timing on it, innit?
and it's quite a simple song. It's not it's like, what is it, 4 chords or maybe 5 chords or something, and it's a good song. Obviously, it's the Beatles.
Yeah, but if like say like the Courteeners came out with that now, I'm not a fan of the Courteeners.
No.
Yeah,
if they released that song,
you'd be saying that shit.
Yeah, I would.
But I don't know. But you would need to know some. Do you know what I would actually pick, right? If I could have anything in history of like, you know, stuff that I could just claim as my own, it would be that 11 Reef joke. Just like, hey,
I wrote that.
That's mine, by the way. I'd like to see that in a quote in a comedy club. He goes to Tenerife, I go to 11 Reef. Marc Jennings.
I think I could pretty much word for word, or at least the context of a joke or whatever. I could do a lot of John Mulaney jokes. I could steal them.
I could steal
the birthday
a lot of
sign routine. I could.
Yeah.
Big
ass B.
That is a good question, actually. If there's one bit you could take from a comic that you like, you wished you'd done, what would it be?
That probably is one of my favourite. Like,
I'd take that full
bits.
new tour show of his about his relapse that's on. Well, it's be on Netflix probably when this goes out.
Yeah,
but would you take
the life that went with it?
Experiences of it?
Yeah, fuck it. The jokes are that good. I'd wreck my life for an hour. What would you take, Mark?
Probably like a wordy one or something. I don't know.
Try to think of my favourite routines.
I
love that Frank Skinner routine about jealousy. You seen that? It's like 5 minutes on YouTube.
I think I have seen that before.
That's up there for me.
Can't remember off the top of my head. The Kevin Bridges bus stop joke was a big one that kind of, before I got into comedy, was like, that's just, every piece of that is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, probably like that John Mulaney birthday sign bit.
It's a joke.
He's got loads of bits.
I take the bit in John Kern's new show about the One Show, which is
aye.
fucking hilarious, and I don't want to burn it on here because he's still touring it.
It's hard to think one off the top of the head. I would say there's one I think about a lot, and I just think it's such a brilliant joke. So I was always a big Bill Hicks guy when I was like, before I started comedy and that, and sometimes you see people, and looking at him now, like, he wasn't the best comedian ever or whatever, but he was passionate and he had good jokes, and sometimes people will still go, he wasn't really a comedian, he was just ranting and all that, but he has got some really good jokes, and one of them was he says, the CIA have got a plot to kill Saddam. It's a plot they've used before to kill world leaders. The only problem they're having is convincing Saddam to fly to Dallas. And they're like, come on, Saddam, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you. And I just think that's like, if you were to act, like, that's a good joke to analyse, because you just go, the phrase in that is world leaders, because you assume it's world leaders not in charge of America. And then the twist is that they killed JFK, and just it's a stupid joke
it's
about
like how, because it's Tenerife and you're not expecting it to be 11.
It's very similar.
Yeah,
I think it was Bill Hicks who wrote that. I think also there's a few Rory Scovel bits as well.
I was just thinking of him. Yeah.
The personifying the days of the week and the cool preacher character is really
so
funny.
Fucking funny.
I
wouldn't be able to do his stuff.
But I think that's too much of an easy out for us to choose bits. If this hypothetical, if we're answering that outside of comedy,
sitcoms. There are sitcoms where I wouldn't be able to transcribe them, but I know them well enough to like.
I could get storylines.
Yeah, I could get Peep Show over the line probably.
I tell you what, see if we're going with that. Do you know my favourite episode then is the opposite episode of Seinfeld, where George starts doing the opposite of all his instincts and things start going amazing for him.
Yeah,
I just fucking absolutely love that episode. It's like perfect. If I could, I would write that episode. I would like be in the 90s and pitch that as a Seinfeld script and be the one that wrote that.
Do you think, would you get that over? Would
you
get it made?
Pitch that now, probably.
Yeah, would you be able to get that made because it's just a show about nothing?
Yeah,
famously.
No way are they waving that through. If you approach,
what if I'm there at the time?
No, now.
It's nowadays.
Oh, it's not on the air anymore, is it? But
no, but it doesn't exist in this universe.
Yeah.
You could just have it, and even if it was word for word, but I don't think you'd get it made.
I think you could get a bit but you could take the basic idea, and maybe it would just need to be a fucking TikTok or something now.
You need to film it yourself.
Or a sketch.
You would take that Seinfeld episode and make it.
I'm going to do the art. Do you know what? I'm sick of. I'm sick of everything going wrong. I never trust my instinct. I'm going to start doing the opposite, and then it's like you would just need to do a wee showcase of like meeting a girl and getting a job.
I'm going to unplug the toaster. Actually,
I'm going to leave that fucking plug in the wall tonight. See what happens. Some flames.
I'd probably say outside of like comedy and that, I could get away with writing Harry Potter.
Okay.
I've not read those books, but they look fucking long. Looks like there's a lot in them.
Yeah, I think
It's
the short. I mean,
pretty simple, though,
you
the
said you
story.
could barely remember the words to "Let It Be."
How many chords are in The Prisoner of Azkaban?
Aye, right, but on a base level, right, the story is simple.
Go on,
right?
tell us the story of Harry Potter.
Harry Potter's a boy wizard.
It's basically like the Laszlo kids.
It's the story of
Harry
Hitler.
gets punched in the face, spells out Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
It's all set in IKEA.
Harry Potter in the Swedish furniture shop. That's my first.
That is
story.
a joke that I have. I mean, see the amount of people that if you ever just Google this, say, "Oh, IKEA mall at the Swedish house mafia," right? That is a good joke as well.
Yeah.
But it's just been overdone.
Listen, these are all good jokes. But what we're here to do is, I think I could write Harry Potter easy peasy. It's about a boy wizard.
Didn't know you were a TERF, Steve. Toxic.
No, but I could make it inclusive.
Right.
You know. So yeah, easy. It's a boy wizard. It's fine. People love that.
Writes itself.
Writes itself.
Can you give us like? What's the first page of Harry Potter?
I'm not. I don't
Written
know
by
word
Stephen
for
Buchanan?
word.
No,
but
but
like,
right, okay. Well, you.
Yeah.
This is your
the
try.
first page is it's about Privet Drive, and it's like a normal street in a normal English suburb, and then something spooky happens. A boy wizard is there.
Yeah, I think people have stopped reading already.
Nah, listen, it's a children's book, so they just care about the boy wizard. That's all they care about.
I don't think it's going to sustain. How many books was it? 8 books or something?
I could.
At the
I
very
know,
least, it's not getting made into a film. This version.
It
no.
looks complicated, Harry Potter, to me. It looks like there's a lot
Yeah.
of shit going on.
Aye, but it's just a load of made up words in it.
Yeah.
Abracadabra, all that shit. So you could do that, make up spells, can of cocos, and then you get a wee drink. You know, stuff like that.
I would love to see your version of Harry Potter. Actually, it'd be great.
I could do it. I've got faith.
I hope we
Well, they
make
are
enough money on
remaking it. They're,
Patreon to do
they're
that.
remaking it for. Is it HBO? They're making a series or something. Maybe you
I'm
could
the
be one of the.
screenwriter.
Hocus Cocus, my fucking sponsored ad.
It's like a What's the Script extended where he's going to guess the whole of Harry Potter.
Nah, I know the story enough that I could write that.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it would be like a sitcom. I think I don't know.
Probably the
But it's
smart.
the same problem as the Simple thing. I don't know if it would get made. Although I've got more connections in this industry than
Yeah, the smartest
Others.
money would maybe be in some kind of invention, like even maybe an app, or maybe even just investing money wisely on something. But then I guess
E
If it's
equals
a thing that
MC
doesn't
squared. Do you know that?
I know that. Yeah, I don't know. Don't
do
ask me to say what it means. I've heard of it.
do you know that, Steve?
Well, I would just write that down and show a scientist and then go, that's fucking genius, man.
The theory of relativity, is that what that is?
Aye.
Einstein.
Something like that.
Something like
But would you think they would know what that means?
that.
Yeah, I mean, in this, you've made your own hypothetical, which is fine.
I've just
So-
went to them with a bit of paper.
This is
with a
about
couple
art
of
and
letters
culture. They've got relativity.
Yeah.
That's what Michael Faraday done. Was I speaking about this recently? Michael
Oh,
Faraday, the father of electromagnetic field theory, that's what I was speaking to. He came to him in a dream.
All right, we're a long way for bows now, eh?
I know. That's it.
Yeah.
But,
So did
and he woke up for that dream and his
Yesterday
balls
by the
dropped.
Beatles.
What?
I think that came to Paul McCartney in a dream, and he called
it?
it Scrambled Eggs to begin with because it was just the melody.
That's right, aye.
First time I ever heard Yesterday was in Bean the movie.
You're not allergic to being in the movie, no?
No, I'm not actually. I
Which-
loved
and
Bean
what
the
did Beans
movie.
go with? Scrambled eggs. Coincidence. I
Full
think that.
circle.
Yeah.
This is a question, right? So see something like the Yesterday, the song or whatever, because a lot of artists talk about this thing about, you know, they're just transcribing what's in the ether.
Mhm.
So before Paul McCartney wrote Yesterday or Let It Be or whatever, these things just kind of existed in potential.
Yeah.
And if, for example, we lived in a universe where he didn't write one of those songs, is it there and would somebody else have taken that melody or taken those words or the gist of that thing? You know, it's like if you don't write a joke, would somebody else
Think of it.
come
I
along
kind
and
of
do a
believe in
similar
that a
verse,
little.
you know?
I think you would take the melody. I think there's only so many combinations of notes you can put together to make a melody. So I think that would happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not word for word, but
It's a little bit like the old monkeys and typewriters routine, isn't it?
Aye.
the blurst of times. The Simpsons. Good stuff.
Have you seen the movie Soul, the Pixar movie?
Yeah.
It's about that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, what would you do this? Did you say?
Just try and get Peep Show over the line.
Sure.
8 series, make a bit of money.
Yeah.
Maybe move on to Succession after that.
I could sell you a script about Mark doing the opposite.
It would be good. I guess that's the beauty. If you were to do, I don't know if this is Ollie's not here to ask the question again, but because you could just pick all the classic episodes of different sitcoms and then put them in the same one. For
Yeah.
the plots.
I suppose you would need to just go, the whole sitcom doesn't exist in this universe, rather than... So maybe I would need to create Seinfeld.
So not one sitcom exists in this universe?
No, they exist, but just not.
But
as
see,
we have here.
instead of Stu, can he just write an episode of Peep Show? Peep Show doesn't exist, for example, or Seinfeld.
Yeah, but so if none of these things exist,
No,
then any
just
comedy would be good.
whatever your thing is that you're trying to do.
Right, that's
So
the only
rather
thing.
than you, let's just say that the rule is you can't.
You can choose one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but you can't just choose a specific episode.
Yeah, it has
It's
to
like
be
you
a
need a
whole.
whole right. It's like you can't just go, I'll write a chapter.
Yeah,
of
you've got to
fucking,
write the whole thing. Which
Harry
is like Mark's
Potter.
got to write all of Seinfeld
I've got to write all of Seinfeld.
without Larry David sitting next to him.
It should have
I
been
could.
possible. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't even manage it the last 2 series after they left.
Yeah, I could name you all the Harry Potter books and then write something about them. Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure you could
No.
match the quality.
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, we can all name the titles. That's that's not hard.
Yeah, easy.
So we've got some other hypothetical questions to talk about. So this one we were actually going to talk about in the live show, and I don't think we had time, did we?
That's right. Yeah.
Should probably say just at this interlude, by the way, as well. Thank you very much to everyone who came to the live show at the Glee.
Yes.
I will be up
That's
on
funny.
Patreon pretty soon, if not already. It
a
was a
good
fun
laugh.
night, and hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good laugh. Cheers for coming
Yeah.
along. I got steaming.
Yeah, we did. We all got.
Do you know who else got steaming? Susan.
Yeah. Shout out to Susan
Susan,
Riddle.
Riddle, friend of the show. She punched me and Steve individually, separately.
Did she?
Yeah,
In the arm.
yeah.
I feel a bit left out now.
We're like
Did
little brothers to her that she can bully.
We did discuss on stage about how she could probably batter as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I reckon so,
definitely.
for sure.
But anyway, sorry, we were going to talk about this at the live show. So Steve, do you want to lead the way with this one?
So, would you rather have to say anything that comes into your mind all of the time, or never be able to say anything at all?
Which seems like a paralysis that both apply to you, actually.
Me?
Yeah, saying whatever comes to your mind, but also not really ever saying anything.
This is highly offensive. What the
No,
fuck?
because see, when you first pitched this question, I thought actually the second bit would be you can say stuff, but you can never say what you actually mean. So you can either always tell the truth or
Oh,
always
that'd be
lie.
shite.
But you're saying that you can just never talk at all.
Well, we can go for that.
No, so I think it's my reading of it is either you're not allowed to say anything, or you're talking, but you're speaking your thoughts all the time. You're brutally honest at all times.
Uh-huh.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you can have no secrets from people because you have to say the first thing that comes into your head all the time, or you cannot say any words ever again.
I would take talking all the time.
Would you?
Yeah.
I think the truth would set you free as well. After a while, you'd get used to it and you'd be like, well, this is it. And I think to not talk all the time would be so hard.
Yeah. What if it was you could never say what you really mean versus you always need to say what you mean?
That's a bit more interesting. So you're either a bullshitter or like absolute truth all the time.
Uh-huh. Which I think is the plot of Yes Man, which is a Jim Carrey film that I went to see once, which is similar, very
It was a book, actually.
Ins-
No, it's
Insanely
Danny
similar.
Wallace book. Yeah.
Yeah.
insanely similar to Liar Liar.
No, the plot of Yes Man is, or at least I've not seen the movie, but
Jim Carrey's in it, Bunny.
yeah. But Danny Wallace, the book is, I think he was turning 30 or something. He'd realised that his life was in a bit of a funk, and he was
So
like,
starts in
I'm
yes
going to
to
say
everything.
yes to everything.
Uh-huh.
I think there was a couple of rules, but you're like, spam emails and shit, yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying yes to everything.
I
I don't
just-
think there was a truth
You're
element.
thinking a liar.
Yeah, I
No, I
think
know,
you
but
could
they
like
a
seem,
fat
they
liar.
seem very. But I do remember seeing that in the cinema with this lassie that I'd went to see it with, and there's a bit, and Jim Carrey goes, I am gonorrhea, and I laughed too loud at it. And, I don't know, it put it off. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's maybe a bit more
So
interesting.
what is the new mod? What's the question?
So yeah, would you rather have to say everything in your head all the time.
Is this not the plot of, sorry to interrupt with another movie, but is it not the invention of lying? Is that not, that's stupid.
It's also that thing from the Ricky Gervais show where they ask about the guys behind the two doors. One only tells the truth and one only tells a lie. Basically, you're saying, which person do I want to be?
Right, yeah.
One that can only tell the truth or tell a lie. I think overall you'd want to be able to tell the truth.
Tell the truth,
'Cause,
probably.
like,
I think so.
Would you be able to train yourself to not have mad, fucked up thoughts about people, do you think?
we could say-
Probably
You
not.
got to have your current psyche.
Maybe it's just that, like, you don't, because you don't need to say everything that's on your mind all the time. You just, if somebody asks you, you cannot lie.
Yeah.
But you don't need to express every single thought you have.
I do think it's true that we lie all the time, those people.
This
to
is
get through
true.
the day.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you
But I think
it's a
word would get
problem?
out pretty. Are you allowed to explain your condition?
Well, it wouldn't be a lie, would it? So you could.
Yeah. With that caveat, it's not a bad.
You could say, "Oh, I'm telling the truth because I'm telling you this."
Mm-hmm.
It would be hard to just say talking to people you're like, by the way, I hate you. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
I do not respect you.
Yeah. I've never let you.
I mean, there are some people in comedy who do have that personality, but they will just say that.
That's true.
Um,
But the people are cunts, aren't they?
I'm not going to say.
I think I would take truthful.
Yeah, probably.
It seems it would cause more problems to never be able to express what you really feel rather than.
That would be like horrible.
Yeah.
But then you would probably get further in life if you could just lie all the time, I would say.
But even, what would you need to do everything sarcastically?
Everything would become a game that you're playing with yourself. wouldn't it?
Yeah, no. Be exhausting.
Yeah, I guess, imagine...
I'd cancel my therapy sessions straight away. Not get much out of them anymore.
Creative writing session.
Imagine this scenario then, if you like had a girl or whatever in front of you and she said, I love you. If you always had to say the truth and you did love her, then you'd have to say, I don't love you. So then you'd lose the love of your life. But if you had to lie or whatever...
You had to tell the truth.
And then
you didn't love her.
Then you'd have to say that to her.
You'd lose her either way.
You'd lose her either way, wouldn't you?
Unless you do love her and you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
I'm so confused now. I think if she said she loves me and I don't love her and I have to tell the truth and I say, sorry, I don't love you, I think that's fine.
But if you lost the love of your life...
Because I had to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Would she know about my condition?
Well, you would never...
You could only go,
Tell her, would you?
I can't not
Yeah.
say what's on my mind.
And no one's gone out with that guy. That's so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, again, the truth version's alright, but the lie would be a pain in the arse, I think.
Yeah, that would be bad.
My bows have not dropped.
So
they
great
have.
opening line. We'll swipe left, actually.
As you alluded to earlier, Stu, you get these things off the internet and they always start with a stupid wee story or whatever.
It's like when you get like a recipe and it's like, I was travelling the Moldovan fucking mountains,
that.
blah, blah, blah. And you're like,
Just tell me
"Shut
how to
up,
make
man."
lasagna, you cunt.
I was on the chat AI bot thing yesterday fanning about, and I did just say, write a story about the Laszlo kids. It was fucking long as well, by the way. But I can't remember.
But next time we
Because you could write a comedy crime caper set in Glasgow,
comedy.
with the
Wasn't a comedy.
a serious thriller, and it would get closer the more information you give it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we could write 3 pages and we could all act it out.
That would be good.
Right? Yeah, thriller, but with themes of how not to set your house on fire.
So this is a little... I'm going to take you on a journey, guys, for a
Please.
couple of lines
I'm at
here.
your feet here, Steve. I'm listening.
You're walking down the street, you see a book. You pick up the book, you go to a coffee shop and you start reading, only to realise it's the story of your life. Dun, dun,
How
dun.
quickly would you realise, do you think? That's my first question.
Probably when I seen the cover.
I don't even think Steve could recreate that book.
Well, I suppose, what's the first moment that you realise, oh, that has to be me? Fucking try to smoke paper?
Well, it still could be you were doing it with 2 or 3 other guys, weren't you?
So it could be their life.
He could be one of theirs. Yeah.
I'm reading the story of Ali Gray's life. What the fuck?
Well, if
Ulster
it's-
Gray, the Renaissance man of
Ever heard?
It was like, growing up, my granddad would always sing around the house.
La, da, da, da. Do you think if he never sang that, someone else would have sung it? Is that out in the ether?
Scrabbled eyes. La, 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 la.
So you start reading this book, you realise it's the story of your life. Do you turn the page? So you read right up to you finding this book and you're sitting in a coffee shop.
I don't even think I'd read that far. I think it'd be quite dull for me.
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be a
Well, I
long
already
book?
know everything that happened.
You've known what's happened, but here's
Well,
the
there's a lot I don't
question.
remember, I suppose.
Do you turn the page knowing that you won't be able to change the events that will unfold?
Are we going page by page on this, or is it a binary? Can I read tomorrow's page,
Yeah, you can read one page.
or is it
you
like a
can
biography?
read-
Is it only the highlights?
Stuart turns the page, and then you turn the page.
Maybe the next page is like I'm in my 40s, like fuck all happened in my 30s or something.
Maybe.
That'd be sad.
It's like Jesus, like that big gap in the Bible where you don't find out what happens to him when he was going through puberty. You don't even
Do you?
find out when his balls dropped or anything.
Really?
No,
They don't tell you?
no,
about
it's just
that?
like there's a bit
I thought he was an
about him as a-
apprentice for his dad.
Aye, but they kind of brush
This is
over
what
that
Marc
bit.
was getting when we were getting our sex ed.
A lot of carpentry anecdotes. No, because it does. It's like there's a story about him he gets lost or something, and then they find him and he's talking to his fucking priest or something, and then it like cut to he's 30. You know about to get all the apostles and fucking start his band or whatever.
He missed the
So-
wild years in his 20s, which is usually the bit of the biography I enjoy the most.
Mhm.
And that's also when he would have been committing a lot of his sins. They probably don't want you to hear
was
about
out
his sins.
shagging.
He's like shit, right, raw dogging. Because with Mary Magdalene, was she not a prostitute or something?
Yeah, but she's in it, so I don't know if there's allusions to it or whatever. But that's what people suspect.
See, you don't. Jesus, it's not all. It's not all on the surface.
No, but anyway,
More to that guy than meets the eye.
so you.
It's not just a fucking good boy who turns water into wine. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose it would be good and so see if you could just have the book there. It'd be hard not to read it, I suppose, if it's there. But like every now and again, you're like, oh my god,
I'd be interested to know. I think that would take away some of my anxieties,
yeah,
Or-
yeah, but like
or-
health
I
stuff
think
or
it'd
something.
increase mine
or
tenfold.
just increase it if it's like your life's shite.
But
Yeah.
either or. I guess if it's something amazing happens and you become fucking president of America or some shit, I don't know. That'd be like fucking hell. I look forward to that. That's
Would be
crazy.
amazing
I
if
can't wait to see
Steve
how that
became
happens.
president of America.
That'd be a wild journey.
I don't know. I just think you're gonna live it anyway. Why not just experience it firsthand?
Yeah,
It's like when people watch films. And like, you ever been with someone watching a movie and they're like googling the plot?
No,
What's happening? Like, you're
that's
fucking mad.
insane.
yeah.
Yeah, a wee bit different though, because I guess you kind of want to know how if everything's going to be okay. But then again,
I don't want to know.
it might not be okay.
Might
and
not be
that's the
okay.
problem.
Do you want to know if it wouldn't be okay?
Nah, nah.
Because well, the whole thing is you can't change it no matter what. This
But
is
then
in
there's
stone.
the old butterfly effect. Maybe you could change it.
Well, this is my thing. I think it would definitely change it if you knew it already.
No, but then the book's wrong.
But then it becomes book inception because then there's got to be a bit in that book where you're reading that book.
So if at the bottom of that page was then Steve turns the page, that means you have to turn the page.
Usually biographies don't really get into that level of detail. Do they? It depends what kind of book this is, I suppose. If it's like a diary that details every second of your life, then that's the case.
And then I was writing the last chapter. You know, you never see that. No, but
Yeah. Because if that was the case, then you could probably see how much pages are left of it, and you could go, "Oh, that looks like a lot of fucking years," or it could be like one page, and you're like, "I'm getting hit by a bus tomorrow."
Yeah.
Shit.
I'm staying in the morning. Yeah.
I would probably prefer that to
And the
just
bus
see
comes to
how
your
much,
living room.
how many pages are left, and I go, all right, okay, I've got that time, or not. I would take that. But
You
I
want a
wouldn't-
good goblet
Yeah.
of fire, not a philosopher's stone.
Which I've written in this universe as well.
Because you wrote this book. Yeah. I think it has to be that you can't alter it, because then I think that changes the question. And if I could alter it, then yeah, if you read it, if you read the first 20 pages, you're like, oh fuck, I'll go way off track here. I need to sort my life out and
Mhm.
Yeah.
start making plans and do things better. That is more appealing than no matter how well or badly my life goes. If I
Yeah.
need to just live it out anyway, I may as well experience it firsthand.
So then it's almost getting into what's the Scrooge thing, the Ghost of Christmas Future, where it's like showing you,
Yeah.
so you can change it.
But that's more if you don't buck up your ideas, boyo, then people won't be sad at your funeral. That's
You're
the,
such a
Yeah, but
tight
it's-
ass.
Yeah, tight freak.
Yeah, but ultimately it's like that whole thing of like showing you so that you can change the future, which I think would be the whole point of it as well.
But I think the point of this question is, do you want to know what your
Do you want
future holds?
spoilers?
How you die, all that stuff.
But then I would actually be interested in just seeing how many pages I have left, because that would indicate how much time I've got to do the shit that I want to do.
I would
and it
take
would
that.
put stuff into perspective.
We'd probably kick you up the arse, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's real minutiae like you're alluding to, I wouldn't want it because it would spoil Succession for me. I'm enjoying watching that in a minute.
But I do wonder though, because it's like, yeah, but it's like, what quality of life would you have? Do you know what I mean? If you're like, you know, it could be you've got another 50 years, but you're going to be, you know, a vegetable or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know that.
No.
Well,
I
it's too
would-
late. You don't get to choose what you know.
Well, I would probably end it before that. So then the book would be wrong.
But what if?
Yeah,
but
but
you
the
won't
book
get
can be
choice.
wrong.
Then I try and end it, and then I end up being a vegetable.
There you go. That's the Shyamalan twist.
That's the Shyamalan twist. You try and jump off a building and you hurt your wee legs or whatever.
Why are you jumping off the building?
To try and kill
Kill
yourself
himself so he
because I
doesn't
don't
become
want
a
to be a
vegetable.
vegetable, but that turns me into a vegetable.
All right, I see.
Because he's got the book in his pocket and it's that punctures his lung or something. But it doesn't kill him.
See, it all makes sense.
You know what?
Makes perfect sense.
Do you know what? I'm leaving that book where it is. I'm
You
burning
think?
I don't
that-
want anything to do with that.
I'm
book,
burning
man.
that book.
You're burning that book like a suffragette, are you?
Yes. I
Would
don't think,
burn a bra.
I don't think
I
that's
think
what
it's
it
the
is.
Nazis you're thinking of.
Yeah, the Christians.
Very different movements.
I think we've said this before, and I said something about feminazis, and we
Yeah,
cut
no,
it
you
out.
used to- yeah, you did.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a good joke in this case.
That
it
was
makes
funny
sense.
because you're like, who is it that burnt the books? Is it the feminists? Like, no, that was funny actually.
We'll keep it in this time.
Yeah, keep it in this
Nah,
time.
you
Showed your
don't
work
have
in
to.
this time.
You have to put that up there with a living a reef. I think that joke in terms of work.
I do actually.
But yeah, no, I think I'm tempted to look at it. I would just look at the page count. I think that's what I would.
I'm not a big reader. I prefer a video. Yeah. Give me the spark notes.
Give me a TikTok on this, please.
It's a video of you in here sitting talking directly to the camera, telling yourself, "Hi Stuart, here's how you're going to die."
If you're watching this, yeah. one of those.
If you could watch your life as a play, do you think you would enjoy the play? Do you think it would be boring?
I prefer it to be a HBO dramatic series than a play.
than a play. Like, it's not going to be a big musical number, is it? But
It would be for you.
Use could be, yeah.
do you think?
You've played a few, made a few.
You've got those
songs.
four
raps.
chords you keep bragging about.
Yeah. C, D, F, G.
I would not watch a play of my life, no.
Here's the thing though, because I would like,
Nor would I try and write one.
cause you know that thing about like you get, you know, there's obviously the thing of your life flashes before your eyes when you die, or obviously there's a whole thing of like, you know, people imagine heaven and it's like you kind of almost get a highlight reel. I used to always imagine it like, you know how when people would go out the Big Brother house and then they would show you the highlights of being in the Big Brother house. I sort of felt like that's what you're like when you're at the pearly gates, standing with St. Peter. He's like Davina McCall showing you your highlights
Pauses
of
for
life.
drama.
You know, with Coldplay under the, you know, under it or whatever.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
I would take that. I'd be quite, you know.
I'd like that. I'd like to see all the good goals I've scored at fives over the years.
Yeah.
I think that would be quite nice to see.
You're not playing in this charity football match, eh?
No, I've got
Can you not
that.
make it?
I've got the preview.
Me and Marc are playing in a charity football
I
See,
would
that's
like to.
Steve, a man who's not able to tell a lie. no.
I've got a fire safety chat that day actually. No, I would have liked to have played in that.
Should we plug that? Is it a thing that is it a fundraiser or something?
I don't know. I mean, it's for a charity.
Yeah,
I think it's for a good charity. We'll get the proper details.
we'll get the proper details.
somewhere. No, it's funny how small time that is, but in life, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like things like that stay with you, don't you? Like good goals you've scored, like I don't know, like just funny, stupid achievements that
Absolutely.
like, no one would even know about. But
I can remember goals that I for high school, like in a game or something I've scored, and
yeah,
you just
Yeah.
it's like almost like years of my life I barely remember, and like there'll be like gigs I've done to hundreds of people that I do not remember, but I remember scoring an overhead kick down by the train tracks. There was only about 4 of us there, jumpers, you know,
aye.
But it was the best.
amazing.
Such a good feeling.
But memory doesn't really work like that. It doesn't work in chronological things. It's like the way we're always talking and then like something just comes up, a thing that you've not thought about for years, and then, you know, it kind of stimulates you that way. But it's like if you think about it on a day-to-day basis, it's so hard to remember.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
bit grim, really, to bring up, but like, you know, when you speak to someone they've got like dementia or something like that, like the
Yeah.
memories that they have, and they've only got a set amount, and they retell the same ones, and they're never like, it's never like their wedding day or like a big
No.
achievement. It's always something really specific from like childhood or
Yeah.
don't know, it's just interesting.
Do you think that's at the time it felt significant to them, and that's why it's embedded in
Probably,
their
yeah.
mind?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Because you'd want some killer.
I tell you what, if you're talking
It's
to
never
them,
like someone on parquet like cooking.
if you're talking to them, you're like, listen to this fucking great song. I wrote, let it be, let it be, let it be.
There's
There will be an answer. Let it be. Did you write that, son? Oh, aye.
That was one of mine.
That's one of mine. There's a guy I think who had dementia, and he something about like he was like a composer or something, or he played the piano, but memories like it helped him if he heard music or something. It helped.
Different parts of the brain. I read this book and it was about a guy and he'd been in like a car crash or something like that, and he'd lost his memory, but he would still have all the habits ingrained, so he could go out the same walk he used to go on and stuff like that, and he'd find his way back. But if like somebody stopped him in the street, he wouldn't know what his wife was called or what his dress was in, but he just knew the certain patterns. It's different types of parts of the brain.
I think that'd be one of my biggest fears, actually, getting.
Yeah, no. To be fair, it's not. No, it's no some laugh. Dementia.
No.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. You can cut that out, but it's interesting.
No, it's interesting. No, do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
Doesn't
that's
make me all laugh.
no,
that's
some laugh.
Should we end on a different hypothetical? Though?
Yeah.
Don't know how we
Seems
got
like
to
a bit
that.
of a bleak note.
We'll do a quick one.
Imagine that was the end. That was 50 episodes, and that's just it.
Right, guys, listening for the good run. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in, and it's been a blast doing it. But when
What's the robot one? Have you said
separate ways?
So, if you found out you were a robot, would it change how you live your life? And if so, how?
Gut says no.
You would just continue doing this.
I
If
don't
you
see what it
were
changes.
a
I would
robot?
stop taking plugs out of the walls.
I'm immune to this.
I don't see what
I'll
it
keep
would
that one
change.
in, actually.
I mean, because then I guess what kind of robot are you? But then, you would still have consciousness, wouldn't you? You would still be.
Yeah. Well, if I'm a robot right now, then which I could be. I don't see what it changes.
I guess the question it's like it means your life wouldn't really matter anymore because you're a robot and you're not a human,
I
but
think it
it
matters
would
exactly
matter
the
to
same.
you.
It's very
because-
speciesist, as Elon Musk got accused of being the other day.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he said he wants to prioritise humans over AI, and he said that Larry Page, I think he's the Google guy or something, accused of him being speciesist because he wanted to save the human race against AI.
That's insane.
Yeah. I'm not exactly coming in to bat for Elon off.
No, it is obviously mad, but
What a fucking stupid thing.
but you're so. But if you're still,
I'm happily speciesist.
yeah, but it's still your life, right? So you're saying it wouldn't. So if I just told you, right, Steve, you're a robot, your life doesn't exist.
I
Go
know,
and throw
it's
yourself
gonna-
over a bridge
It's
and then you'll
obviously
become a
going to matter
vegetable.
to me, but if I chuck myself off a bridge, maybe I won't die because I'm a robot. I'm titanium, like that old David
That's what
Guetta
that
song.
song's about. Yeah.
Old David
But a
Guetta
robot
song.
having an existential crisis.
Well, it's like that film we watched for the pod, Ex
Ex
Machina.
Yeah.
And they but then that was I guess the twist was they got so good at pretending that they were sentient that they tricked the person, and then they were doing it for the wrong reasons, weren't they?
Probably, I can't remember.
Can't really remember.
All I'm thinking of, if I'm a robot, I'm a fucking good one. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no wires or anything. My body's falling to bits all the
How'd
time
you
in
know?
various ways.
Well, I
I've
suppose
seen X-rays and stuff.
I
but
suppose
that's
the
what they
thing
show you
would
stuff.
be, and the more pertinent thing to go back to is,
Mainstream media.
The lamestream doctors.
I suppose it's more like what if you were an artificial, not really a robot in the way that we talk about them, but if you were artificial intelligence, but your consciousness had been put into this, but it's artificial, and we're like,
It's a bit like the living in a simulation thing, really.
I guess so, actually.
Which
aye.
to me, if this is a simulation, I could believe that it is, and to me, it's equally as meaningful as if it wasn't. It's the same shit, really, isn't it? It's just
Absolutely, you're still experiencing it the
packaged
same way.
differently.
But if you had the knowledge that if you died, then yourself up there playing this simulation would go, oh, game over.
That's not how I would. I'm
Where's
not
this
picturing me
came from?
playing this game.
Well, in this scenario, right, you're
I love how you always change it to something crazy that you think it's like that's what the question is, but it's actually only in your head.
You're upstairs playing the PlayStation of yourself.
This Stu is a sim of Stu up there
The great
playing
big
the
Stu in the
game.
sky,
The
yeah.
great big Stu in the sky.
Great
You
guy.
die down here, and you know that you're up there.
I'd just start playing as one of you guys.
But would you
Or you
care
get sacked.
about
I'm a
Football
non-playable
manager.
character in this, actually.
that? Would you care about dying, do you think? And if you could go upstairs and live your life up there?
I mean, people have died on me in The Sims before. It's not something I've lingered with.
Exactly, so they
not been a
might
big
not
problem.
care, but you might care.
Why would I care?
No, this Stu.
Well, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, who cares? It's not for me to worry about, is it?
I'll care.
Oh yeah, sure. My loved ones will care,
Aye.
I'll care.
but I'm the one who cares the least because I'm no part of it. I'm dead.
You all right, man?
Yeah, I'm doing alright.
Are you
You're
sure
right.
you're
Don't worry about my
right?
men's mental health.
You sure you're all right?
I just think it doesn't change anything if you're a robot.
But yeah, but would you see if you picked up that book in the street and you've read it and you realise
You're
oh my
a
God,
robot.
the end.
So many twists. Also, you're playing yourself in the sky.
P.S. You're a robot.
You're a robot watching a play of your life that you have written in a simulation.
I mean, I guess I would be maybe less fearful of. I mean, it depends what kind of robot we're talking about. If I'm Terminator, and
You're
I can't
picturing
get
Bender
killed.
from Futurama, aren't you?
No, I'm picturing Terminator. Like I can't die. Basically, I'm getting shot at and I'm fine. So that's cool. Then I could go into a lot more fun tasks after that.
Such as
Yeah, what would you do? Day one is Terminator, what are you doing? You'd still go to this fucking fire demonstration. wouldn't you?
Well, I can see that cunt gets melted at the end, so I want to learn how to not get melted for a start. Don't I? Does he get melted? He does.
No, one of his in Terminator 2, the bad guy is like made out of liquid.
Aye, something like that, whatever. But aye, I think if I was a Terminator, first port of call, probably
Get a big leather jacket.
aye, yeah, get myself a motorbike, wheelies on the highway.
Would you be body
Willy's on
positive
there,
if you were the Terminator?
I was going to say, would you have Arnie's fucking abs and all that? And
Well, you would be a bit gutted if you were the Terminator, but you're just a wee 5'5" guy. A chubby 5'5".
surely that Terminator's got to have some fucking fake legs that he could, be extended.
There we go. Yeah, I could
That's
get
it.
myself a big long pair of legs. Change them. I'd go into battle. Why not?
Aye.
Go into battle if I was a
Okay.
Terminator.
What the fuck
What,
is
you'd
this
serve in
question
the
again?
army?
What are we
You'd
talking
serve
about?
in the army if you were the Terminator.
Nah, not that. I just see what it's like to get like shot at and all that.
Right. So, are you saying that you'd be happy with finding out that you were a robot, basically?
No, I wouldn't be happy
You
about
thought
it.
you'd be
But
thrilled.
me?
Yeah.
No, I
You've
wouldn't be
concocted
thrilled.
this perverse scheme where you're the Terminator. for no reason.
These actions overcompensate for how unhappy you are. It's like midlife crisis.
I wouldn't be happy about it, but certainly if I knew I was the Terminator, it would change things. I would,
To say the least.
I wouldn't be fucking coming here every day and doing a podcast if I was a Terminator, for fuck's
Well,
sake.
Steve, we
think
got a
you might.
surprise for you. It's 50th episode. We didn't want to tell you at first, but you are the Terminator.
You're going to say that's not going to change you? Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think we've bastardised this question.
I think
pretty
we've
badly.
kind of.
Well, when you tell me robot, you tell me Terminator. That I hear the same words there.
Well, the thing is, but you're is robot and you're going Terminator. It's like, see, when I say Tenerife, you're always going to live.
So you're thinking more Wall-E rather than
I
Terminator?
don't fucking know.
I'm picturing more Robot Wars.
I would be Sir Kill a lot.
I'd like Craig Charles to commentate on my life.
Yeah. The same.
I'd like him to be the video telling me everything's going to be all right with my life.
I don't know what conclusions we can draw from this episode, but
It's been a wild ride.
it's been all over
We're
the gaff.
50 episodes in.
We're just going to unfortunately need to continue the podcast
Yeah.
every week till we get to the bottom of these philosophical questions.
Gonna need to do another 50 at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Get to a hunter and see if we're still on us.
Yeah. Full hunter. Not really a stunner anymore.
No, I guess not.
Old and haggard.
Yeah, unless we get. But do you know the good thing is though? Body positive, so we won't care.
I don't know if I'll be body positive when I'm a hunter.
100-year-old Terminator.
All right. I thought we were just talking about 100 episodes, didn't you? You're talking about 100.
Both. Well, no, yeah, I mean, like if I was
I'd
actually.
like to
100
think
years
we'd be similarly good looking after 100 episodes of the podcast.
We can
Yeah.
measure it
And
and
it
see
ages that
how
much.
see how receding Steve's hairline's got by other episodes.
Well, that's
a scary thought, isn't it? Because this is in like 4K. We can actually use it as
Yeah, no.
yeah. Your
like
forehead as
like
well.
kids having height marks on the wall, but just foreheads going up in it.
Well, fucking
Let's
please, none of you out there actually do that for next year. By the way, that will be probably quite depressing.
Yeah, that will crush us.
But
Yeah.
what hasn't crushed us is your continued support.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Listening.
So when is it a year? Is that
It'll be a year in
When
the
this goes
18th
out.
of May was the first episode, so there's got another couple of weeks yet. But 50's fucking basically a year.
yeah?
50's good innings. Never missed a week.
I know we've done well.
Never missed
Well
a
done,
week.
boys. It's been hard
Apparently,
sometimes.
We've missed
It has.
weeks individually, but not as a whole.
Yeah.
we've always had one out, and apparently the average is 7 episodes for a podcast before they fucking chuck it.
Bow out.
So we've done
Yeah.
quite well.
Look at us. 7 times that plus 1.
That's right. Aye,
Good
right
maths.
enough.
Yeah.
Good maths.
You're a
Yeah.
robot.
I've been starting to think that Steve is a fucking chat AI bot this
Yeah.
whole time.
He's trying to throw in some absolute nonsense every week to throw us off the
Throw
scent,
us
but
off.
I'm onto the guy.
This guy has to be
This
human.
guy knows about
It's
bots.
like it almost makes sense, but not quite.
Technology's not there yet.
But no, listen, guys, it's been a blast doing this year. Thank you so much for everybody who's been tuning in, and we'll continue to bring you episodes every week, and we hope you continue to enjoy them. A big thanks to Steve and Stu. I'm just going to take this opportunity to say for turning up every week and creating such a fun podcast that
Thank
we've
you,
all
Marc.
enjoyed.
And I
It's
would
been a
like to say
pleasure.
to you, bleep, blip, bleep, blip. So there you go.
You're hoping that you get a bigger laugh there, did you?
You can take that home with you.
Yeah, apart
It's
from
been a
that,
pleasure, lads.
just the usual plugs. It's been a pleasure, eh? Well, I mean,
Plug
fucking-
our Fringe shows.
yes.
We've already done that.
All right.
Well, no. Let's just do it at the end. So we're all at the Fringe. Stu, what time you on again?
5:45. Monkey Ball 2. Love that for me.
Stevie?
1:30, Monkey Bar 2, caricature spelled with a CH.
And mine's is at 5:50 at the Tron. It's called Away From Here.
And
And
it's your most personal show yet.
that is
That is what I was reading
literally
on
the
the
entirety
skinny.
of the blurb so far. And it will be actually, but to find out what that entails, you need to come to the show.
A lot of personal stories that you've told on the podcast.
Maybe
perhaps.
some that I've held back for the stand-up, I
Wow.
would say.
There you go. Look forward to that.
As ever, you can like and subscribe on YouTube. Please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you've not done so already, although thank you very much to everyone who has done. You can, of course, sign up to the Patreon for as little as £3 a month if you want some extra bonus content. And you can follow us at Some Laugh Pod on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter, and send any questions that you'd have if you'd like us to answer your hypothetical questions or really any other types of questions. Send that to somelaughpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Well, listen, guys, thanks very much for getting
Thanks
us to
so
50
much.
episodes.
Thank you.
And we'll speak
Thanks
to you
for the
soon.
support.
All the best.
Have a good week.
Cheers.